What's up, you beautiful people? This is Gary Horn, and this is. Oh God, I lost my headset already. We're just glitching up over here. How apropos. This is Gary Horn, and this is the NWA, the podcast celebrating the past, present, future, history, legacy, and tradition of the greatest pro wrestling entity of all time. We're talking about the National Wrestling Alliance, and we're coming at you with full FPSs. We're going to try to make this show as seamless as possible because you're probably looking for a show that does that for you. We are, listen, man, we get it. We were there. We saw it too. Let's jump into this thing. I'm not by myself. As always, I am joined by Mr. Wilson Martin. Hello, Mr. Will. Hey, it's Will.
Hello. Welcome, everyone.
And as always, the only man who could save us, if there ever was a man who could save us, somebody call a doctor! It's Dr. Rob Stinson in the house.
Save us, why too, doctor? I've always wanted to say Wilson Bennett Martin, by the way.
Why would you want to say that?
The baseball player, man. I just love
okay.
I want you to know, like, I set up like a whole background here. Like, I had it going for like what this was going to look like for me, and it turns out when we share the screen, it's not the same. Now the 10 pounds is out of the picture.
I just see a bunch of dolls in the background. Are they dolls?
Hey, listen, they're not dolls. They're action figures.
I just see the side of your face like you're a WWE superstar watching.
That's how I watch the TV. Oh my God. All right. So guys, you saw it. We all tuned in to UWN's and NWA's very first episode of Prime Time Live. Here we are. We're all here. You've joined us. Here you are in the chat. We're happy to see all of you. I'm excited to get your takes as well as Will and Rob's takes. And we have not discussed what we're going to say necessarily here. We're just here to tell you what we saw. And I've got my notes for what they're worth anymore. And how do we do this, guys? How do we like start this thing? I feel like
first of all, we'll state the obvious. We're coming at you guys on a new platform. This is not the normal Zoom that you're used to seeing us on. And the whole time tonight with all these glitches, I was like, is this really the night for us to like test a new platform? Like, is all of our stuff going to go wrong too? But no, we are.
Yes, because if even the professionals have trouble, it just makes us look better. I don't even know what the hell I'm doing with that camera right now. I have no idea what's going on. So,
but so we're live on YouTube, we're live on Twitter, and we're live on Facebook. So welcome everyone to this Primetime Live after show, and we're gonna try to keep this to like less than 3 hours. So you guys can
we'll do it. I mean, there was 3 total hours of action, just a full. I've got detailed notes of everything that I saw. They take up one page, and I know it sounds like I'm being shady. Let me show you something that does make me happy. Look what I could do if Rob starts talking some trash. Boom, Rob's gone. Rob's off the screen. No more Rob. But if I say let's call a doctor, there he is. Oh. Will, you're being shifty. Bye, Will. It's just me and Rob. I like that. This is some new power that I have.
You've given Gary too much control, Rob. We might regret this.
Yeah, this is kind of fun, actually. Hey, by the way, though, we just do want to say, just straight off the bat, that this is made possible by some of you generous people out there, people like WWE Front Row, Ryan Romano, everybody who's chipped in, like bought merchandise, that sort of thing. I promise you, any kind of profit we make, we put towards trying to better ourselves here to make this stream more exciting and more accessible to everyone. Right now, we are not just broadcasting on YouTube. We're broadcasting on Twitter, on Facebook, everywhere. So this is cool. There's people chatting with us right now that are chatting from Twitter, and it's mixing in with the people from YouTube. So it's cool. You guys don't even all have to be in the same place. I sound like a nerd. I'm sorry. I'm just excited.
Couple MySpaces in there, man. There's some Live Journal. There's some doggone Alta Vista in there.
There ain't no damn MySpaces in there. Man, Rob, I'm trying to put myself in a good mood, and you ain't helping, dude.
Bro, if you can't get in a good mood over an Alta Vista joke, come on.
Oh man! All right.
Let me say, man, yeah, okay, I get it. There was technical stuff that happened. They'll work it out, guys. This is a family. Things aren't always perfect. Hell, we've not ever done a perfect thing. Okay? It's going to get better. We had some great matches tonight. The set looked fantastic. We're on the right road. I mean, I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything. This is not the time to experiment and make mistakes, and it happened. But they're going to get better. It's going to improve. I'm telling you. Next week, we got Thunder Rosa showing up, man. We got Eli Drake showing up, and we'll get to that. And we saw some fantastic matches tonight. So get over the glitches, okay? They happen. They are what they are. Let's talk about wrestling. Let's talk about the fact that for the first time since like 1951, the World's Championship was defended in Long Beach, California. The last man to do that was Luthez, okay? So regardless of the technical glitches, history happened tonight. And, you know, and I know everybody had Spidey connections and this and that, and they'll work that out. But let's focus on the positive.
Well, hey, man, you know me. I'm as positive as anybody, or I try to be at least. I try to do my best. And but the thing is that I got to be the guy. If you follow me on Twitter, you saw me. I was trying to talk it up. I was trying to tell you people were working on this, and that people were working hard behind the scenes to make this happen for you. But Rob, I can't in good conscience sit here and tell you that I can't understand people that are going to be frustrated right now. People are going to be upset. They're going to be a little peeved that they just spent either $7.99, $11.99, or $23.99 for a show that they probably only saw half of. And I'm not going to, and that's not me sitting here. And I think that Fight TV knows this, and hopefully David Marquez and Billy Corgan and the NWA, they all know that I'm not here talking trash about them. This is not personal. It's just a thing of this episode did not work for a lot of people, including myself. I missed most of this show, and I wanted to see it. I wanted it to succeed. But I'm a little annoyed. Just to be honest with you, I'm sitting here and I'm annoyed, and especially that it wasn't resolved by the main event. So I am empathetic to the folks out there that are pissed off right now. Now, I get your idea, Rob. I get your idea that I'm happy. I'm happy the NWA's back. I'm feeling positive. I'm feeling like they're going to work these glitches out. I want people to stick with it. I can also understand that people are going to be, this is a hard hill to get over right this second. Right now, emotions are going to be high. People are going to be upset. Will, am I crazy here? Oh, how are you feeling right now?
Yeah, I'm a balance of both. Listen, I am not the kind of person to sugarcoat things or to be passive aggressive. I usually am pretty direct, and I'll say I was disappointed 100%. I'm not disappointed in the talent, the matches, all the stuff you just mentioned, Rob. Not disappointed in that. I am super excited for everything you just mentioned, but the glitches and the shortcomings and things like that from the technical side, I am very disappointed in. And, you know, I'm not throwing anybody under the bus, and I'm not blaming anybody because, listen, I don't work for Fight TV. I don't work for Thunder Studios. I don't work for United Wrestling Network. I don't know. And honestly, it's not important who to point the finger at. What's important is that it's made right in some way because, yes, I mean, there are people that paid for a product and got half of it tonight, if that, just because of the quality. I mean, I did not sit and watch one entire full match without having to reset my Roku and log back in and start it back up. That was my experience, and everybody had a different experience. So I missed probably 30% or more of the event tonight, knowing that I was going to have to come on live on the internet and give a review and talk about it. That was really frustrating. And so I'm not going to sit here and act like that people should just be saying, yay, oh, it's okay. Like, the people spent money on this. It'd be different if this was on YouTube, right? And it was free and it's like, okay, we'll catch it later. It was glitchy. They'll fix it. They'll re-upload it, something like that. I mean, this was a pay-per-view. And if you're going to put on a pay-per-view, it's got to meet certain expectations. If I go to a restaurant and I order a steak and I get half a steak, I don't just go, well, I'm excited for the next steak. You know what I mean? I say, hey, give me a whole steak. That's what I paid for, So that's kind of where I'm at, and that's my frustration. I don't want this whole review and recap to be about that and harping on that, but I'm not going to sit here and ignore everyone in the chat and act like I don't have, as a human, similar thoughts about, what I just went through. You know what I mean?
I guess what I'm saying is I get it, and I acknowledged, and I said it in my comments. I'm sorry that Gary didn't hear what I said, but yeah, the stuff happened. The glitches happened. Now let's talk about the wrestling that did happen. Let's report on what happened. All right? Nobody, the talent, not us, not you, not James Lawrence, not anybody is responsible for technical glitches. But some great wrestling happened tonight. I would like for us to talk about it.
And we will. We absolutely will.
We're going to run down this whole card.
We can't ignore the elephant in the room. That would be really irresponsible of us to ignore the elephant in the room.
This is the NWA. It's not. This is PC Magazine.
I feel like the person tried. Wait, who's being PC here? Like, what is that even?
PC as opposed to Mac, bruh.
Oh, I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it's like we're definitely not being.
You're always ranting about the other PC, so it's hard for me to tell.
PC Magazine, man.
Well, I don't even know. You don't know how they were running that show, Rob. It could have been run on Max.
We have to address it. I get it. We addressed it. Let's move on. Let's talk about the wrestling. The stream sucked. Now let's talk about the wrestling. We got that out the way.
All right, let's jump right into the wrestling. So this thing opened up. You got Todd Kidley, Alyssa Marino, and Joe Galley on commentary. Marquez opens up the show, and he welcomes Chris Dickinson. And he opens the show, and I don't know what he said.
I know 30% of what he said.
He said something about everybody knows who he is, and then it kicked me out of Fight TV. And then I came back, and it repeated the same thing I just saw. And then it skipped ahead by 5 minutes, and then I was all of a sudden in a match with EJ Sparks and Hammerstone. Do you have anything else you'd like to add to that, Rob?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you were following the live chats and the discussions that were commenting on it because people saw various things. But, we're going to carry on the show with completely commenting on us getting kicked out. We've established that we got kicked out. All three of us got kicked out.
Hey, look, dude, I'm just recapping the show. You said you wanted to recap the show. I'm just telling you what I saw. Now I'm throwing it to you to talk about what you saw.
Here's the problem. I'm in the middle here, literally and figuratively, because I think we can talk about the show, and it doesn't have to be fixated on the glitches, but let's not ignore when the glitches did happen. If we're going to talk about the Dickinson promo, I didn't see it. That's not me throwing anybody under the bus. I'm just going to tell you I didn't see it.
The glitches happened at different times for different people, so there's no point in fixating on the glitches.
Okay, well, then let's not fixate on the glitch. Why don't you recap what Chris Dickinson said?
At the beginning of the show. Here's my problem with that. My problem is me not seeing that had nothing to do with glitches. It had to do with that I was talking to Tim Storm for Piper's Notes.
Oh, man. Oh, spoiler alert. We got Tim Storm coming on for Piper's Notes. Hopefully you got all of that footage. So anyway, listen, man, I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say this. I hope that if Nick Aldis, Mike Bennett, anybody in part of United Wrestling Network, including David Marquez, Billy Corgan, anybody who's watching right now, you know that I love this stuff, man. This is everything I care about in wrestling. I love everything you've done, but I will not recap this show and not mention the stuff I didn't see, because that's just how this went. And I'm not going to harp on it. I'm telling people, stick it out. They're going to straighten it out.
Let's throw out what we did see so we can comment. Here's what I saw. I saw most of Jordan Clearwater versus Will all day. Okay,
well, we got a whole other match to get through before we get there, Rob.
So almost all of Heather Monroe.
I'll just sit him out for a second. And then that's too much. I'm sorry, Rob.
He was going to leave.
I saw almost all of Chris Dickinson versus Jordan Cruz, who wasn't the scheduled opponent, by the way. I saw. Okay, here I'll give it to you. I really wanted to know what happened at the end of the TV
I'm willing to walk through the show. Okay. I feel like you're angry at me now, Rob, and
we just doing a show, man. I love you, bro.
I just feel like
he hasn't called me yet, so I don't know.
Hold on,
it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell with I just. Whew. All right. So what's up, you beautiful people? Welcome to the show. As you can see, tensions are high here too, and we feel it, man. And we're going to throw to the chat. Don't get me wrong. We're going to throw to the chat. Let us walk through this show here. We're seeing you. I know a lot of you are happy. A lot of you are pissed. More of you are pissed than happy, probably. We're going to run through the show. We'll throw to you guys in the chat, too, and let you guys get some words in. We were going to do like a quick, 15-minute show to recap the thing, and that is clearly not going to happen tonight because Rob won't let me get a word in edgewise. I'm just kidding, Rob. Just kidding. It was a joke.
I like how you're leaving. I like how you're leaving his Twitter handle up there in case people want to tweet at him.
Oh, I've got to check that.
Go ahead. Could you DM that? Where's my hand? DM that Twitter account.
with any of your complaints.
Any complaints that you have, whatever you didn't see tonight, Fight TV's complaint department right there. And you know what? Actually do that. Instead of spare the poor people at Fight, who I guarantee you were not happy that things weren't working well either. And I'm not sitting here telling you that I think that Fight is the worst place in the world. We love Fight TV. Fight TV has been nothing but good to us. They are good people. And matter of fact, the NWA has been good to us. David Marquez has been on this show, man.
Oh, man.
I don't know how many times I have to keep saying this. I just feel like I really want to hammer that in. We love these people. So we're just trying to be honest. You don't want us to lie to you. You were there.
Things happen. Things happen. We're not going to come on here and bury anybody. We're not going to come on here and point fingers or do anything like that. The experience that almost all of us had tonight was not totally positive. And so we're going to talk about it. And yes, we're going to talk about everything that happened, but let's get that out of the way. And then let's talk about what we can talk about and let's get excited. I'm excited, assuming that based on this response, they're going to fix all these issues. And next week is going to be completely flawless. It's going to be the best production I've ever seen. That's what I hope. And that's, I'm not canceling anyone or calling for anything like that. I'm just saying this experience I had tonight. It didn't live up to what I'd wished I had experienced, and it is what it is. But we did see some wrestling and we did see some exciting things happen. So yes, Rob, let's move on. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I do want to acknowledge one thing that happened in the chat there. Dead Kobe saying, and I want to be clear on this if I wasn't. He said Fight did okay with the last two NWA pay-per-views. I'm guessing the issues are with the venues technology. We don't know. That's the thing. I think that's where Dead Kobe's going. He can guess. We can all guess. We don't know. Fight TV, I guarantee you, did not want this to go down like this tonight. And we've seen examples of them not having it go down like this before. Thunder Studios, new deal with the United Wrestling Network. Just probably unforeseen stuff. I guarantee you everybody there loves wrestling and they're good people and they wanted it to work. They were really excited and anticipating this being an important event for them as well. So we don't know where the hiccup was. All we can do is kind of count on them to resolve it henceforth. But anyway, so Chris Dickinson comes out, the Dirty Daddy. I like his look. He gives a conversation about everybody knows who I am. I did not. So I think that was part of the idea is that he's a very cocky guy. And I was looking forward to seeing him fight. Now, where it skipped into is I did get into, I was happy to see Marquez. I could say that. I love the commentary team, by the way. I thought Todd Kinley, Alyssa Marino, and Joe Galley did an excellent job tonight. I enjoyed every bit of it, especially you, Alyssa Marino. I don't know if you're watching this. You probably are. I mean, who doesn't? She did great, man. She was very assertive and in there and just on it. And everything I heard from her, I was super impressed because I know this is a girl who, a woman who's worked her way up in the WWE and unfortunately was part of those releases, not to get too personal on that side of things. But this is a steal for the folks at United Wrestling Network. I think I thought she did great. I mean, were you guys cool with the commentary tonight? Oh
man, Alyssa Marino, you said it. She was top notch, man. I mean, considering I've never heard her on commentary before, I'm not really even that familiar with her as an in-ring talent. But I mean, she killed it, man. I mean, she's knowledgeable. She didn't skip a beat. She was in there with the calls when she was needed. She was setting up matches with precision and accuracy. And I thought I can't put her over enough in this whole thing. That was a welcomed addition. I will say my only critique is, and I think someone said it in our Discord, I would have loved, and this is just my personal preference, I would have loved to see a heel commentator in there, because I just like, the Bobby the Brain type, kind of heel commentator. And I think in a 3-man booth, that would have been cool. But yeah, I mean, those guys did great, and Alyssa did incredible.
It was fantastic. Alyssa did a great job. It was really, really, really uplifting to hear Joe Galley's voice again on commentary at ringside, man.
You could tell how excited he was, too.
Yeah. Absolutely. He was giddy, man. It was fantastic. You guys have said everything that I feel. I think they did a fantastic job.
Yeah, I totally agree. And yeah, it was nice. I know that we're not like best friends with any of these people, but it was just lovely hearing Joe Galley's voice again, like an old friend. It was nice hearing him come back. Hey, Rob, I am getting word from our producers that your mic is low. Do you have any way to turn that up?
My mic is low. Huh.
Or just put it right in your mouth.
It sounds like he's just going.
Turn volume up like it's just my computer, man.
I think it's voice activated. Just say volume up.
Volume up.
Okay.
Let me try to. Hey, y'all keep talking while you're doing this. I'm going to fix this technical difficulty. I'm gonna plug in my microphone.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, well, that would explain why it's slow.
Yeah, I'm
it's not plugged in.
Oh my God.
Yeah, don't always use it. So give me a second. Keep talking, guys.
All right. Well, so the next thing up is Rob missed this anyway. So we jump right into one of the matches I was most excited about, Will. I was excited about seeing Alex Hammerstone versus EJ Sparks. I was super pumped about this match. We talked it up a good bit on our go-home show for it. Unfortunately, this is one of the more glitchy matches for me. I mean, it was right there at the beginning with all of the problems. And then, of course, at that time, we were in the middle of being frustrated, trying to figure out what the hell's happening. Is it your stuff? Is it my Roku? Do I need to restart? Do I need to back out, go back in? All of this crap. In the middle of it, I caught, a good solid 3 minutes of this match, maybe. Hammerstone looked just as good as I remember him looking, and he was doing some great power stuff. EJ Sparks was bouncing around. He looked solid. I was excited to watch what I could, but it was unfortunately, I was getting better pictures at that time in our Discord, which by the way, you guys can join. There's a tweet out about it right now. From the Alliance block, J Cal, our boy J Cal, and he was there in person and taking some photos and stuff, but unfortunately I got more of those out of that Alexander Hammerstone and EJ Sparks match than anything. But Alexander Hammerstone did get the win in this one. Fellas, Will, how much did you see of this one? I know, Rob, I don't think you were in yet for this one.
I was pretty engaged for this match. It was really glitchy, but I wasn't super distracted by it because I assumed it was going to be something that was very temporary. And so, I was pretty engaged. I was paying attention. I thought there was some great spots, particularly one that stood out to me, just stuff that I don't see, you don't see all the time. But there was one where Hammerstone threw Sparks into the corner really, really hard, like so hard that he fell to the mat, and it, slammed EJ Sparks in the corner and did some damage. I thought that was cool, just showing his power and things like that. And I really thought that both guys were kind of in their zone, Hammerstone being the power guy, EJ Sparks being the versatile kind of high flyer, very athletic, and even the fighting style, the kind of what is it that EJ Sparks, Muay Thai or something like that he's actually trained in, that came out a little bit. So I thought again, from what I could see, it looked like a good match.
Yeah, Rob, were you able to catch any of this, really? No, I came in right at the Nick Aldis promo where he's talking about Bennett and about redemption coming at a price. This is probably about, 11, 12 minutes into the show. Okay. Well, so Hammerstone did get that win. We got an interview with Nick Aldis directly after that, so it was nice to see him. Unfortunately, a little bit of skipping there for me, but I did catch him talking about that
delivering basically the Nick Aldis promo that you're used to hearing. I mean, he's going in there telling you that, like, Bennett's got something to fight for. I've got something to fight for. We're about to go in there and fight like men, and we're going to get it done, and we're going to deliver for you guys. And, basically building up the match. Everything you want out of a good, solid Nick Aldis promo. He delivered it, of course, as always. Anything to add there, Will?
No, I mean, I think I saw most of that, to be honest. But it was your standard, veteran Nick Aldis. As Rob likes to say, the statesman. He's going to come out holding the belt and have the confidence and the swagger that he always has. So when I say standard Nick Aldis, that's not a dig. That's actually a compliment, because he was himself. He was. I haven't heard from him in a while in this setting, and didn't seem like he had skipped a beat at all on the mic. So it was great.
Gotcha.
And I'm not going to pretend that I'm objective on this at all. I mean,
we're not either, Rob.
That's okay. The objectivity is overrated anyway. But Nick Aldis wrestled a couple of weeks ago. Nobi Bryant, he got to knock some ring rust off, but this was the first really big match, and to see him, I don't know. I was sitting down with Tanya, my wife, watching it here in our studio, and just like, man, I thought that interview was fire. I thought it was fire when he said redemption comes at a price, but it's not a price that I'm willing to pay, or it's not a price that you can cash in on me. I thought Aldis nailed that interview. I thought it was amazing, and it gave me chills. And you're right, Will. That's standard Nick Aldis. That's what he does week in and week out. It just seems to me, just emotionally, it meant more because tonight was such a key night. I mean, I spent all day talking to my friends in the NWA, hashtag NWA fam, asking, sharing thoughts. What do you think, this and that? And, I really went into this, thinking that Aldis would win it, but like, man, gosh, I don't know. Are we going to get through day 696? And when Nick Aldis came out and gave that promo, I knew we were going to make it to day 700. I knew it.
Yeah, and the sad part is though, Rob, too. I think the reason I do want to go to bat for the consumer sometimes is like I'm literally right now getting texts from a couple of people who are saying they lost their feed after the first match and they got nothing else, and they're trying to watch it now to see if they can catch up. They were just like, sorry, I'm missing the live show. I'm trying to watch it as we speak because I didn't get any of it. So it was a little different from other people. So I just want to be clear, like, I just figure we can't sugarcoat it, I guess.
I'm not saying that, Gary. I'm just saying we have acknowledged that it happened. It's no lie. I know it happened. It happened. I was frustrated too. I was messaging Brian Roaster during this, saying I'm about to lose my freaking mind if this messes up, But it happened, okay? So they will fix it. I'm pissed it happened too. This is not tolerable if it continues. But, it's not the talent's fault. I mean, the matches still went forth, and we can, between our collective family, we can kind of generate an idea of what happened tonight, and that's what needs to be talked about.
I don't know, man. From what I heard, Nick Aldis was running the production truck, and I completely put this on his shoulders. Nobody tell him I said that. Let's move on. Next up was Jordan Clearwater and Will Alday. By the way, we should take a tally here. I did write down that for Hammerstone was Will and Spark. I think we all had Hammerstone actually for that matchup, so we're all tied up here. Okay, Will Alday took on Jordan Clearwater. This is where we're going to get a little different. I believe Will and myself both picked Alday for this match. And he came in looking cocky, man, looking strong. I liked this guy. I thought he has a good look. He's cool, man. And he's going in there against Jordan Clearwater, who, by the way, Jordan Clearwater looks like a nice, solid baby face, a super hot baby face. I enjoyed most of what I got to see in this match. It was skipping around a little bit, but I got to see a pretty good portion of it. I love Will Alday at the beginning, grabbing the microphone, talking some smack to the announcer about how to call him out to the ring and stuff. Some good heel heat building there. And these two guys had like a nice athletic contest. Of course, the Jordan Clearwater ended up getting the win here, which surprised me. It's not what I was expecting, but Rob was. So congratulations, Rob, on that one. But anyway, good match. Solid action. Rob, what did you think of this one since you were jumping on here?
Well, I saw this coming. I knew it was going to happen. I called it. I tried to convince you guys, and as normal, as usual, you blew me off. And now, like you said, Gary, in all seriousness, this was a solid technical match, relatively short match. Both competitors look good. They look skilled. They look like they could easily walk their way up into the middle card, and then ultimately both of these guys look like they could easily fit into a picture one day once we develop some storyline and get themselves into situations that are really meaningful. So I thought it was positive, and I thought Clearwater looked good. It was I love matches that end decisively, and I thought this did, and so it was a good thing.
Will?
Yeah, unfortunately, this was a match that I didn't see the actual finish. I saw the celebration, so I knew Clearwater had won. But I was pretty impressed with both these guys and the way that they worked together and the match that they had. I'm with you. I loved All Day at the beginning, full on heel, get my introduction right, establishing himself as he's the guy, and he's cocky, and I think that played out well in the match, and so I was pretty impressed with both these guys. I agree with you, Rob. I'd love to see more of these guys. I'd love to see them built up, and this is just an example too of one of the great things about Primetime Live is we're getting exposed. If you're an NWA fan like we are, you're familiar with the NWA talent, but you may not be familiar with guys like Will Allday and Jordan Clearwater, and so this is an opportunity for you for all of us to be exposed to these guys, and I think it's great at broadening our horizons. So I liked both of them.
Yeah, for real though, about this is a chance to get to know people. I feel like I was misled. None of the posters, none of the title cards made it look like that Jordan Clearwater was as big as he was. He looked like a large man compared to Will Allday. I was not expecting that. I thought they were like kind of, maybe like middling to cruiserweight size or something. And Jordan Clearwater walked in there, and I was like, well, this is a stout young man.
That was my question. I almost asked it in the Discord, but I didn't want to be embarrassed. I'm like, is Jordan Clearwater huge, or is Will Allday really small? Because it was one or the other, and I couldn't figure it out. I was trying to Wikipedia these guys and see their their build height and stuff like that. But yeah, from the first shot of the wide shot of them in the ring, I was like, this is not an even matchup. And I was immediately regretting my choice when we made our picks. But yeah.
Oh, man. Well, so congratulations, Jordan Clearwater, with your first win on UWN Prime Time Live. I can't wait to see more out of both of these guys. Like Rob said, I think one of the cool parts about this, especially in the first month here, we're going to start getting a chance to see, I think, stories develop. And that's one of the things that, only Aldis Bennett, I think, and that was just sheer force of will by both men to make that happen. There was so much story. I mean, there was history on Championship Wrestling from Hollywood on some of these matches. Don't get me wrong, but it's just interesting. I think they can develop their own storylines from here with this program. So next up, I was surprised to see it so soon, but we got Heather Monroe versus Camille, and it was more of a contest than I gave it credit for. By the way, because I think in our prediction show, I just called Camille steamrolling Heather Monroe, and that did not happen. I mean, Camille manhandled woman-handled Heather Monroe, but Heather Monroe did have some of those wily veteran instincts, some of that slick stuff that she's known for, and thanks to her manager, Halston, he distracted Camille at one point, and then Heather was able to work over that shoulder, and it really impacted Camille for the rest of the match, and allowed Heather Monroe to get some pretty decent offense on Camille. Even so much so as Camille trying to sneak in that first spear, and Heather blocked it with a kick, and that was pretty sweet, and then locked her up and tried to stretch her back for the, I guess her moves the backstabber. I apologize if I'm wrong, but it looked like that's what she was going for. But Camille, unfortunately, even with the hurt shoulder, too strong, powers out of it, throws her around, hits the spear. 1, 2, 3. Heather Monroe goes down. Just like the rest, Camille remains undefeated as far as we know. So, Will, what do you think about this particular match?
You're gonna make me go first because I was the one that picked Heather Monroe to win.
Maybe I was just rubbing your nose in it, I guess.
I don't typically believe in moral victories, but I do think this was a moral victory for Heather Monroe, and that's not me touting my my pick when I picked her to win. Okay. But as soon as Camille walked out, I'm on a level with all you guys. As soon as Camille walked out and stood on the center of that stage, I thought, Heather Monroe has no business fighting this woman. This woman is in a class of her own. I mean, Camille, no one, guys, listen to me, no one since the pandemic started has put in more work than Camille to get herself in shape. It was obvious that she's been working in the ring a lot. She looked very comfortable. The story they told, I thought, was great. There was a lot of twists and turns. And as I predicted, Heather Monroe's technical abilities came into play a lot. And that seemed to be the hurdle that Camille had to get over. And she did. Eventually, she overpowered it. But yeah, I mean, this is a match of the night candidate for me. I was disappointed it was so early on the card because the glitches hadn't been fixed yet, and I thought that they were going to fix it. And so I was a little swept up in that. But, I mean, this was a hell of a match, and both of these women really established themselves as big parts of Primetime Live, in my opinion.
You are out of your mind, Will, if you think this was a more. Here's what I'm gonna disagree with you, and then I'm gonna give you props. Okay, I'm gonna give you and Brian Rosa props.
I've still yet to get props this whole show.
I love
you.
Gary, you are my Gary Bear. I love you, man. I love you. Sometimes I love you so much.
Just call me after this.
Yeah. All right. Here's the thing, man. Gary. Will. This was not a moral victory for Heather Monroe. This was a moral victory for Camille, who everybody said was just strong, and that's it. They did not give her credit for her technical prowess and ability. They didn't think that she could go move for move. Even people that I respect, like you and Brian Rosa, were saying that Heather Monroe was going to win this thing. Okay, and if I didn't have my better sense about me, I might have bought into that. But like you said, the moment Camille came out, I had no doubt. However, let me give you props. Heather Monroe had a great match. She gave Camille the contest of her life. I have never seen anyone stifle, weaken Camille like I saw tonight. And there was a moment with that when she was favoring that shoulder run. I thought, oh my gosh, Will and Brian called it. Holy cow. But at the end of the day, Camille's just too powerful. And whatever she lacks in technical ability, I think she's made up for, during the pandemic, but she more than compensates with that brute strength and just her inherent athletic ability. There's not going to be anybody to beat Camille for a long, long time until she gets in that ring with Thunder Rosa, and then that's a different discussion. We'll have that discussion later. Great match. Definitely one of the two matches of the night for me, for sure.
Hey, I predicted Monroe getting run over. I was happy. I'm actually, despite that, a big fan of Heather Monroe. I think that she's got a lot going for her, and I was happy to see her take it to Camille, more so than we've seen anybody else so far. So, there's that for her. So, good job, Heather. But unfortunately, God, when Camille walked out on that stage, I mean, Jesus. I mean, that was too much. I was like, she has been, if you follow her on Instagram, I mean, she's just been busting her ass day in and day out. I don't know what she's doing, if she's like getting ready to just be like Miss Universe or something, but she is just like, she is a machine. It's ridiculous. So I pity anybody, man, woman, child, whoever, hopefully no children, that has to step in the ring with Camille. All right. So next up on the card, they actually threw over to an interview. I thought they said they were going to Eric Watts, but I was pleasantly surprised. Not that I hate Watts, but they threw over to Eli Drake, and he was on the mic, and it was good to see him too, man. I missed him, just seeing him talk, and it's looking good, looking ready to go. And we find out he will be back next week. He'll be in competition against Watts. So I was like, man, No, I know we already knew we had Thunder Rosa and who's Priscilla Kelly, who presumably I think is the main event, the NWA Women's Championship. But also now Eli Drake takes on Watts. A lot of people were wondering about if these crossover matches were going to happen, between talent from the United Wrestling Network and the NWA. We got it out of Camille and Heather Monroe, but that was the only one really on this card. And it's cool. They're carrying that over to next week. Watts and Eli Drake. And both those guys are pretty dominant figures in their respective promotions. So I don't know. Were you guys excited about that? That pumped me up immediately for next week.
I was excited, and not to be negative about something that's really exciting that we all want to see, but I was a little disappointed. I mean, this is one half of the NWA Tag Team Champions that we're talking to. He didn't have a belt with him. He didn't mention the fact that he is a champion in the National Wrestling Alliance. I would have loved to see a little more continuity. He could have cut the same exact promo just with a tag belt on his shoulder. I just think when you have a belt like that that's that prestigious, you should carry it everywhere you go. That's just my opinion. So I was a little disappointed in that aspect. Doesn't take anything away from the fact that I am super excited to see him and Watts. I think it's going to be an incredible match. But just that left kind of a poor taste in my mouth a little bit, if I'm honest.
You're absolutely right. I noted that right at the beginning. I'm like, where's the belt? Why is James Storm not here? That's my first thought. But then I was like, kind of like Gary. It's like, man, Eli Drake is back. I'm so happy. This is a guy that I've been critical of, but because I feel like the sky's the limit for him. I mean, you guys have heard me. I've said, this may be the guy. This may be the heir apparent to the throne whenever Nick Aldis, drops it. If that ever happens in our lifetime, which it may not. But if you're those in the chat, and you can ask my man Elder Sauer. I saw his name pass by. Shout out to Elder Sauer. I love that guy. You can ask him. Take notes, guys. Listen to what I'm saying here. You have to rethink the kind of entity that the NWA is if you're doubting whether there's going to be cross-promotional wrestling as a norm. That is the NWA. It's what it always has been. In fact, I would argue that is the norm for wrestling, with the exception of one major Northeastern company who I won't mention, not because I'm critical of them, but that's not the place here. The NWA is going to do cross-promotion. That's what the definition of this project is. It's going to happen more. And Eli Drake versus Watts, what did Dusty Rhodes used to say? It's going to be a Donnybrook. I cannot wait. That's fantastic.
I just think, they're working. I'm happy with that portion of the show, seeing them already going to bat, like trying to make sure that you want to tune in on week number 2 of United Wrestling Network's Prime Time Live. Like, I think it's going to be a big deal, like seeing these folks in here. Very, very interesting stuff going on. All right. So then right after that, we get the Tribe versus the Wolf Zaddies. God help me. I wish I would have gotten to see a little bit more of this match. I was a little disappointed. I got a lot of stuff happening to this feed, but I mean, fellas, maybe you saw more than I did, but what I did see, these guys were beating the hell out of each other, and they end up just fighting, and nobody ever seemed to really have an upper hand, and it just goes to a time limit draw, which is to be expected. I mean, they have a time limit on the show, so these things are going to happen. I'm in favor of that, but God dang, I want to see both of them go at it again, or both teams go at it again. But Rob, how'd you feel about this match?
Man, we hyped this up the other night. It was a good match. It was all we hoped for. I did lose. This is a point where I was frustrated. Okay, I'm not going to dwell on that. I lost about a good 3 minutes of that match. When I was able to reboot the stream, it backed up for me. Luckily, about a minute and 20 seconds. I had to go on my Roku TV and my laptop. So I was able to kind of generate an idea of generally what happened. But at the end of the day, I was surprised. I thought I really felt like, the Tribe had the size advantage, but the Wolf Zaddies, man, they're beasts, man. Literally and figuratively. And I thought they were going to win this match. So did you talk about the finish yet?
Well, just the time limit draw. Basically. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Surprised me, and then I think the commentator looked like it surprised them too. And the commentator made the point that, look, we do have championship matches, and therefore all the matches have time limit draws. I don't feel like that was ever said before. Is that
Yeah, I
right?
don't think it was established. I mean, to be honest, the wrestlers even looked a little confused. Like they turned to the referee, and she's like, "Hey, time ran out." Like you could hear her just like telling them, like, "Sorry, that's it." Will, how'd you? Do you have any thoughts on this match?
Yeah, I mean, you guys just hit the nail on the head. If they had announced in every match what the time limit was, I would have felt a little better about it. It did seem to come out of left field. I do like time limit draws because I think we're going to see this match again with a finish, and I think they're good for that and for furthering a storyline. I think they got in there, and man, this was a slobber knocker, guys. This was 4 beasts. They said it themselves. It might have been Galley who said it. It's just 4 beasts going to war, and I was hooked. And I'm a tag team guy, so I love this match, and I want to see a finish eventually for sure. So I think the time limit draw in and of itself is fine. But yeah, I think they should have just announced it. It would have made it a little more clear.
Yeah, 100% agree on that. So next up, so those guys get rushed out. God, I was excited about this one, and I'm more excited to see those guys go again. I just can't say enough. Love you guys. All right, so Mike Bennett comes out for an interview with David Marquez. Unfortunately, again, I just missed most of it. I caught some things about trying to be respectful and that sort of thing, but there was a lot of determination in his eyes, and he did say, he basically said he was walking out of there with the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship. So I thought that was, I don't know, something about that felt pretty bold. Am I missing anything of note there, fellas, that you saw that I might have just, had a glitch during?
There's been the anticipation of whether Maria Kanellis would have been there or not. And you've seen this out in social media and this and that, and he intimated to us that she would be there as a counter to the insurance policy, and he comes out to do the interview by himself. And then of course at the climax of the interview, there she is. And you're like, okay, things are starting to shape up into we might see Maria Kanellis and Camille stare down tonight, So that's what I thought. So I thought he nailed the interview just like Nick Aldis did. I mean, we built this up to be a prize fight, and part of prize fighting is talking the talk and selling it and laying it all out there. And I don't think either Nick Aldis or Mike Bennett left anything on the field, man. They poured their heart out, and I believed every word that both of them said. Man, geez, these promos were just fire.
Yeah, I totally agree. I will say this. I was a little disappointed. This is not piling on. I'm just, if I could, I'm just, again, being honest, a note. Right before the show went on the air, there was like photos coming out on social media of Maria being there. Up until this point, Maria had not been announced for this show. And I said it in our Discord chat. Again, you guys join our Discord. If you don't see the link in the Twitter feed, make sure you hit it. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit subscribe. Anyway, thank you. The thing is like there was that discussion. We had the interview with Mike Bennett where he kind of stepped around it, didn't want to talk about it. So I'm like, they're saving this. Like, if it's going to happen, either it's not going to happen and they don't want to focus on it, or it's going to be a big deal when it does happen. And then freaking 15, 20 minutes before, like, they're throwing up photos of Maria backstage with Mike talking to Marquez. And I'm like, right. All right, well, she's there. And then, so it kind of, for me at least, took away a little bit from that reveal. But maybe I'm being too nitpicky or something. I don't know.
Well, no, go ahead, Will.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I was kind of excited because that had been something on my mind the whole time too. So it was cool. I kind of liked it when I saw those pictures because I was like, oh, she's there. And it kind of gave me a little bit of excitement, of what could happen and how that could play in. She obviously, looked like she was going to be appearing on TV. But bringing up that point, it did kind of give it away, but they didn't really try to hide that. I mean, she came out with Mike, and I think the surprise element was Camille coming out, because she had a match of her own, and there's questions in the air of, is she still Nick's insurance policy and this and that, and so I think that was the surprise that they were going for, not so much Maria being there. I think in their mind it was going to be implied that she was going to be there. I mean, they, that's been such a big part of his story that he's doing this for his family, so naturally, she would be there with him. So I wasn't as discouraged by that, but it would have been cool for that to be a surprise. But then in the same regard, like, this was about Mike and Nick. This wasn't about, having a surprise Maria appearance. And so I think them doing that really kept the focus on the prize fight, so to speak. So
that's exactly what I was going to say, Will. I don't think this was ever meant to be about them. And yeah, it's neat that stories, when they're storytelling, the things that take twists and turn. And for them, Camille and Maria's presence especially was an emotional twist, but it wasn't an essential twist to the story. And the other thing too is, it's not uncommon for wrestler spouses, even a spouse like Mickie James, to travel with their husbands, and and not necessarily mean that they're going to appear on the card, even if they might. I mean, I've seen instances in which the two have traveled together in local independent shows where Mickie James has traveled with Nick and she doesn't necessarily appeal, or vice versa. So I just didn't think too much about that. I thought that it was kind of neat how they brought her in, and it sort of added an emotional twist to the story. But I'm with Will. I don't think it was ever essential to it at all. It was more an accident to the story, and just an added twist, but nothing critical.
All right, so maybe I'm being a little hard on him, so I apologize.
Well, and then let's also take into consideration the context of Mike's previous position, where his whole character was under the thumb of his wife, and being emasculated and things like that. So I don't think they wanted to play into that. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. I guess I just looked at it like people, I think, just still put those two together. It's hard to separate them. Why are you giggling right now?
Were you calling me?
I was calling Gary. Answer your freaking phone, bro.
I'm not going to answer my phone right now. We're doing a show.
Make sure we're good, man.
Oh, we're fine. We're fine for now. All right. So moving on. The next thing up is, we get an announcement that Ray Rosas will also be in action next week. So I thought that was a nice addition. The UWN Heritage Champion. So very cool. They're trying to stack the card up and get you a few things to be interested in. I'm sure as the week progresses and we get into next week, you're going to hear more and more about what these actual contests are. But already, I mean, you've got some star power on there, I think, enough to make people want to come back for more, hopefully. Then we get the debut of the Dirty Daddy, Chris Dickinson. And he takes on Showtime Jordan Cruz, which, like you said, Rob, was not the announced opponent initially. It was a Dickie Mayer, I think, was who was initially announced. So if it said why this change-up happened, I missed it. Did you guys catch anything on that?
No, I don't think they mentioned it, at least as far as I know.
Okay. So anyway, I mean, obviously, no offense to our boy Cruz here. This match was more so. I mean, the Dirty Daddy. Just feels so good to say. The Dirty Daddy, Chris Dickinson. He's been touted up until this point. So I mean, you kind of. I feel like you kind of knew what to expect here. Although I will say, in his defense, Showtime Jordan Cruz looks great. Like, he looks like $1 million, and he walked out there, and I was like, hey man, this guy's got a good look. He looks like a wrestler, and he's ready to go. And he got a couple of I don't know. Actually, he got kind of jumped early, and I thought the match was over like before it even got started. Chris Dickinson just kind of beat the hell out of him, left him laying. But Jordan Cruz did make the nice babyface comeback and decide to start the match, and they had a solid match, I thought. Of course, the Dirty Daddy comes out on top, And anyway, what you guys think of this one?
I thought, man, I really like Chris Dickinson, man. I thought this was a fantastic match. Again, I thought Jordan Cruz did well. He didn't go in there and get buried or anything like that. But for me, the thing that sold this match was the mouth of Chris Dickinson. Just some of the lines that he shouted out prior to and during the match. This roster is in a whole lot of trouble, he says. I'm eating guys alive. Corrigan Marquez, he shouts their names out multiple times during the match. Is this it? Is this all you have? And, of course, at that moment, that's when Jordan Cruz begins to make the comeback and to show him, well, this may be all you can handle, but ultimately Chris Dickinson's too much. This is a guy who's dominated Jersey professional wrestling. He's made the circuit through Evolve and all kinds of other promotions. This is a real deal. He's going to be a big-time guy, big-time name.
Yeah, I thought that there was some good synergy, I thought, between Dickinson's demeanor and his just brash outspokenness. And you mentioned it, like calling out Corrigan and Marquez and really just kind of putting down the rosters and things like that and really establishing himself as just this despicable, guy with no respect. And I think Joe Galley even called it out, and he said, the NWA is built on respect and tradition and things like that. And this guy's got none of that. And I think that was cool in kind of creating that contrast of like, this guy is despicable and doesn't belong here. And it just made him seem even more heelish. You know what I mean? So I thought that was well executed, and I like it. I think he can be a part of some big storylines if they use him correctly.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. And I'm actually glad you mentioned that, both of you, just talking about that, calling out Corrigan and Marquez. I mean, that was pretty impressive. There was a lot of intensity going on with Chris Dickinson that I really enjoyed. So I think they've got big plans for this guy, and I can't wait to see what those are. He looked great out there, and so you can tell they've been waiting to debut a guy like this. All right, so then they announced that from New Japan Pro Wrestling, Carl Fredericks is going to appear on next week's show. So yet another one. So they're wasting no time already stacking the card up, just letting you know, just like trying to give you some names right off the bat to like look forward to, that sort of thing. So that's pretty exciting, and I'm excited to see that. Folks, I just want to say again, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button if you're new to us here. We're called This is the NWA Podcast, but clearly we are talking about all things wrestling, and we go live every Sunday and usually Thursday nights, and we randomly decided to go ahead and just do the after show tonight. And I think we're glad we did. You guys are all here, and these guys are all here. I feel happy. I feel satisfied we did it. But
Feel happy now?
Well, I think we all needed this as like a therapy session after that. We all needed to just come together, and instead of sitting and stewing on, the negativity, we can at least come in here and talk about, this kind of stuff. So it's been good for me personally. So thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you guys seriously for everybody that has joined us tonight. This has been amazing. We want to give you guys a little bit of time to talk to, so we're gonna push on through this thing real quick so we can make sure to wrap this before it gets too terribly late. Dan Joseph versus Levi Shapiro for the UWN TV title. Rob's gonna hate me for saying this, but I'm just gonna go ahead and put it out there. I have no idea what happened in this match.
I did not see the finish whatsoever. I didn't see a replay of the finish.
I saw Dave Joseph walk out. He was super hype. His energy upsets me with just how healthy and happy he seems at all times. And I wish that I was as good a shape as he is. And he just seems like he just would be obnoxious to hang around with, because he just looks ready to fight. And I can't handle it. But I was ready to see him wrestle. And then all of a sudden, my stream kicked me out of fight. I get back in, and Levi Shapiro's out there with Howdy Price, and then my stream skips, and there's literally nobody in the ring. And they're like, "All right, well that's that. Let's move on to the next match," and it's the main event. And I'm like, "What the hell just happened?" So, if either of you saw any of this, I would love to know, because I have no clue.
Well, first of all, let me back up 1 second and ask us what we predicted on the Chris Dickinson match.
We all predicted Dickinson winning.
Okay, cool. And then what did we predict on this match?
Well, we all went Dan Joseph.
Okay, we were all right. Dan Joseph, as it turns out, retained the title.
I mean, we know that.
I didn't see 1 minute of this match either.
Okay, so as long as we know that Dan Joseph retained the title, anybody in the chat can let us know if that is incorrect. We assume that's correct.
Jay Cal's in the chat, and he was there, so he can tell us maybe a little more how that finish went down, because it looked I'm sure it wasn't, but it looked like a botch to me because it skipped like something. He was going for a cover, and then it was a 2 count, and it looked like a kick, and then suddenly there was a 3. I heard 3, and then the bell was ringing, and I was like, was that a botch or was that a skip? So I don't know. I'm assuming it was a skip. But maybe J Cal can shed some light. Okay, so J Cal says Shapiro tapped. Okay, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I missed the whole submission. If he tapped, I missed the entire submission.
I do like our boy J Cal was there. If you guys 5:00 on Tuesdays, he does a pre-show that is fantastic. You got to be a part of it over at the Alliance blog. Check that out on YouTube. He was live from Thunder Studios today, sitting there. Not even sure if he was going to get kicked out. He was right there in the middle of everything and talking to us, and it was a lot of fun. You got to check out the Alliance blog on Tuesdays for that pre-show. And just in general, NWA news. Where I was going to go, Rob, sorry, and then I'll let you speak.
I was going to say, we were talking at dinner. Tanya just
mentioned.
No,
I believe that was me saying I wasn't finished talking. I was going to
I'm sorry. I thought
after I finished.
Hey, actually, I wanted to say something.
I just wanted to say I agree with him in the chat. He's sitting here saying he wants to see a Dan Joseph versus Zicky Dice match to unify the TV titles, and I agree with that. I think that would be fantastic. Now, Rob, please, God, talk.
I apologize. I thought you said go ahead, Rob. It sounded to me there was a glitch on your screen.
I don't need your apologies. I need you to just wrap this up. Let's go.
No, I was going to say that you were giving a shout out to J Cal, and I just wanted to add to that. Okay, we were at dinner tonight, and my wife made a
you and J Cal.
I wish, but no, me and my lovely wife Tanya were at dinner, and I was mentioning, it's like we were watching the pre-show. It's like, oh man, J Cal's at the show, and she said to me, and I was so proud. She said, "Gosh, the hashtag NWA Fam has the East Coast and the West Coast covered." I was like, yeah, we got it, man.
That's it, man. I would like to apologize to J Cal. I think I typed in all caps, and then I realized later it sounds like I'm yelling because I was like, no spoilers, because he was talking about the Bennett and Aldis match that we got coming up, but I couldn't see anything. I was just frustrated in general. And then he said something about a pile driver on the ramp or something, and I was like, damn it, I'm not seeing that. And so anyway, all that aside, J Cal, drop your how people can find you, your link to YouTube in the chat there. People are asking for it, so you gotta make sure to do that. Let them know, because I couldn't remember if it was just youtube.com/the Alliance blog or whatever. Just let them know. We are subscribed, so we don't have to worry about it. We get alerts whenever J Cal's doing business. All right. So the next matchup, of course, is your main event. Mike Bennett, with his wife, Maria Kanellis Bennett, takes on Nick Aldis and Camille. Guys, I don't know if this is accurate or not, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it was cool seeing Mike Bennett come out. He got the total entrance. It was good seeing Maria with him. He looked like $1 million. I was excited to see this. Those tights looked kingly. Like it almost looked like you could have taken it as a diss towards Aldis, the way those tights looked. Like this match, I was more excited about this match than I have been of any other match this year, I think. And which I know doesn't sound like it's saying a lot, but just bear with me. I just believe these two guys had an awesome story, and I was excited to see what they do. And then Nick Aldis, like, no music, no pomp and circumstance, just straight to the ring, just shoves the belt over to the ref, and he's going at it. They're just in there. And I don't know. Aldis looked pissed, and I don't know if that was like he was just ready to prove his point. There was a part of me inside that felt like he was channeling the frustration of the fan base that's just like, this whole thing has been frustrating, and I just want to whip somebody's ass. Whatever it was, it worked. 100% it worked. I was so ready. I just needed this match to work. Now, granted, It did not work the entire time. But if I could say anything about these two guys, it's like this is the sign of professionalism. Like these two guys, there was a lot of stuff I missed in and out. I don't know how aware these two guys were of everything going on, especially during their match. But my God, like even the parts I missed, like the follow-up was so good. Like every single moment seemed to count in this match that you felt invested, I thought. And by the time they rolled back into the ring and I think even Galley like announced is like, we're back at jump. Like they're just going back at it. It was like somebody just told him, like, I think we got it fixed. Like just go at it. They like started back over and they just went at it. And these two guys beat the ever living hell out of each other. And it looked amazing. And I'm excited. I was amped up and I don't know. Did you guys feel this? Will, did you feel this?
Absolutely. And again, all the technical difficulties and all that notwithstanding, I mean, I've watched a lot of wrestling in my lifetime. Usually I'm sitting back with a beverage, enjoying it. I was literally sitting on the edge of my seat when Bennett came out and then when Aldis came out. And I think you're right, man. I don't know if Aldis's entrance had anything to do with the fact that, if he was in the back looking at Twitter, he probably knew there was a lot of frustration of people watching, and he was about to go out and have a prize fight on pay-per-view that was having technical issues. But I really did feel like he was kind of channeling all of our frustration. I'm just going to walk to the ring and we're just going to freaking fight. And that just resonated with me, man. Like I saw him come out and I was kind of like, at first I was like, oh, what's going on? And then I was kind of like, hell yeah, come on, Nick, like let's do this thing. So it was interesting how that played out. And I mean, there was some glitches and some skips, and I had to watch a certain sequence several times because I had to go out and come back into the app. And it looked like a highlight reel. I mean, it was just outside the ring. It was this, and then it was a pile driver on the ramp. And then and I was just like, it just blew my mind. So I can't wait. I will say I can't wait to go back and hopefully watch it in its entirety with no glitches because I want to appreciate the entire story. But I mean, yeah, you're right. These guys beat the hell out of each other. The ending, I'm not a huge fan of the pass out submission hold endings, but I mean, you just believe that Mike Bennett was losing consciousness. I mean, he was, and just him reaching out for Maria. Literally, I mean, he's been saying it this whole time. I'm fighting for my life. I'm fighting for my life. It literally looked like he was fighting for his life. I mean, that you couldn't put a better cap on the story that he's been trying to tell since that first promo. And so for that, and I'm a story guy, I love that kind of stuff. For that, I thought it was amazing.
Yeah. Well, no, Rob, I was going to try to toss it lightly over to you. That's what I was going to do. I wanted to get this in just so you know that we're on the same page, is that watching this thing, and especially at that point they picked back up. I mean, the exchanges between these two guys were pitch perfect. There was the pile drivers from Bennett where you thought like, oh my God, he might do this. Like there was some legitimate like stuff in there. And then Nick Aldis putting him in the cloverleaf and Mike Bennett refusing to give. And you're like, my God, I don't know. I even knew, like, I think early on, I'm like, he's got to pass out. He's not going to tap. This guy can't tap. He needs this too much. And that's all there. It's all right there in that match. It was everything you wanted to be. Maria right there, encouraging. On top of everything else that's broken, they broke the goddamn 10,000 gold. I mean, all of this stuff was just brilliant, and it delivered on every level on what you expected that an NWA World Title match should be. So, Rob, I'm just trying to give this thing credit before I throw to you that, like, I thought this match delivered. All it made me do is want to see this rematch. Like, that there has to be a rematch. This can't be the end. Mike Bennett deserves another shot at Sweet Charlotte, and we need to see that happen. But go ahead and give me your thoughts there. I mean,
right. Will is my favorite person to cut a promo on. So,
let me have it. Just let me have it.
I'll tell you something right now, Will. First of all, you got to be out of your mind if you say you hate the pass out finish. You got to be. No, Yeah.
Well, no, listen, I think it was Andrew McKinney brought up a good point in the chat, and I think it's where I don't hate the pass out ending, but he said maybe if there was blood or if they had a little more time, it would have been a little more believable. That's my only point. And again, I didn't see the whole match, so go ahead, Rob. Finish cutting your promo on me.
I'm just giving you I'm with Gary on this, man. I thought that this match delivered everything it needed to, everything it had to under the circumstances, with the glitches and whatnot. I mean, there was a couple times where, gosh, man, I thought I was going to freaking lose my mind here, but I more or less was able to see 90% of what happened, and I got to see all the key moments, and there were those couple of moments, and I was like, oh my gosh, we're not gonna. I was telling Tanya, please, if he doesn't make it to 700, I'm going to catch hell tomorrow. So he has got to win this match. And then, but at the end of that match, that finish, I'm thinking like the three most important times I've seen that pass out finish has been, obviously Stone Cold Steve Austin and Bret Hart, Adam Pearce and Colt Cabana, and then this. And I'm thinking, man, how many times have we said, Nick Aldis has had some great feuds, some great series of matches with Tim Storm and Cody. And could this be the beginning of the benchmark rivalry of the career of Nick Aldis? I mean, it could be. This match sold the story. I mean, all the elements are there for this to be an epic, classic Greek epic. You know what I mean? I mean, this could be the one. I mean, it was a great match. It was the second, either the first or second best match of the night alongside Camille and Heather Monroe. I really enjoyed it, and I didn't hate, obviously we knew that time was going to be an issue. I felt what Gary was saying, with all the emotion, all the things riding on this. I didn't think there was any way in the world that Mike Bennett was about to get pinned or that he was going to be submitted. I didn't think that was ever going to happen. I mean, I thought, with 5 or 6 minutes left, that I was like, something's going to happen. One of those guys are going to pass out and set it up for the rematch, and we are going to see a rematch. And, if you doubt that, then you weren't listening to what Nick Aldis said at the very end.
Yep. Yeah. And I've been joking about that, half joking about it for the past couple of weeks with you guys, but just, tonight was Aldis Bennett won. And I think that's all but a foregone conclusion at this point, even with the post-match interview. If you guys saw it, it was a little delayed on the feed, but Aldis cut a promo at the very end and put over Mike and said that he is world-class and he has an open door to try again. So I think we will see it. And like we said before, hopefully we'll see it on a bigger stage at some point when things can get, quote unquote, back to normal. But maybe on an NWA specific pay-per-view or event when we get there, I would love to see that.
Absolutely. And the match did feel a bit rushed. I mean, of course, but it was still, I guess, what I'm trying to say, there was enough there that made me really, really want to see what happens if these guys get a full match with each other, and see what happens here. It's getting pointed out in the chat that just for what it's worth, David Marquez did go ahead and tweet out that thanks to everyone who joined us tonight for Primetime Live. I do apologize for the technical issues on Fight TV. Those happened on their end. We'll be replacing the show with a master file. See you next week. So I bring that up to say that, like, he's saying that it seemed to be on the Fight TV end, and I guess what I want to say is like, no matter whose end it's on, both those groups were working their asses off tonight. I guarantee you, to make sure this thing happened. Neither of them wanted it to fail. Everybody was counting on this to be a success, and they wanted this to be the start of something brand new and something special. So all of that out of the way, I guess what I'm trying to say is like, give them a little credit there. These are all people we know. We've talked to them here on this show. If you go back, and you can see David Marquez, Nick Aldis, Thunder Rosa, Allison Kay, Marty Bell, everybody in the NWA, and then David Marquez has been here, and all of these people they love wrestling just as much as you do. And I guarantee you nobody wanted this shit to happen like it did tonight, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And so I'm even seeing your reply to David Marquez's tweet, like, why is nobody taking responsibility? Fight says it was the venue. You say it was Fight. Who's telling the truth? Like everything I've seen from Fight has just been apologetic. And they've said, we don't know where the issue is. It may not necessarily be on our end. We don't know. And so they're trying to resolve it. Marquez is saying, apparently, I assume pay-per-view worked fine, so it was just on Fight TV. So that would, tech support 101 would imply that means that it's on the Fight TV end. So I guess I'm saying right before that, David Marquez still said, I apologize for the issues. So everybody's saying they're sorry. Everybody's done. I mean, there's no conspiracy here. There's no like reason to carry this on. Like, it's just things effed up, dude. That happens. Nobody wanted it to happen. Here we are. I've been nothing but honest with you that it was frustrating. I told you I was frustrated. I feel you. I'm empathetic to your concerns. I guarantee you that is top-notch story number one tomorrow morning when everybody wakes up and they start planning going into next Tuesday night. They're like, what the hell happened? How do we make sure that never happens again? That's all you can do, man. That's all you can ask from them. And if you don't want to be there, I mean, you know, I feel sorry for you that you just can't come a break here on this one. They're going to fix it. The replay is going to be there. But it is what it is. Maybe I'm off base. I'm ready to throw to the chat. Did you guys have anything you wanted to add there while I scroll through the chat and see if there's anything we need to bring up?
Nope.
No,
All right.
I agree 100% with what you just said, Gary.
Yeah. So Biggie 2911. Shout out to Biggie. He won our contest and got the event for free. And he said Fight TV emailed him to say that it was from the venue. So maybe that's true. Maybe they just said no. I don't know. Maybe if they did, maybe they'll apologize. It really doesn't matter, honestly, at this point. I mean, that's kind of where my head's at. Well, you know, honestly, Biggie, you didn't even pay for it. So that's kind of where I'm at on it. So
Congratulations, by the way. Thanks for being.
By the way, you won. So you should just feel on top of the world. You won the most glitch. You got to be a part of all of this controversy for free.
Hey, Gary, before we move too much further, I want to go. How do we call the Mike Bennett match? The Mike Bennett Nick Aldis match. How did we call that? Just want to make sure we document what I'm about to say.
Everybody called Aldis.
I know I lost because of Heather Monroe. I know I lost. You guys might have tied, right?
No, we got solid first, second, and third, and stupid Dr. Rob Stinson won.
Okay.
So wait,
Give him his moment.
Aldis. Gary, you picked Aldis?
Yeah.
And Will, you picked
Aldis. Really going to play this whole thing out.
So, hey, get this. So final tally here. Coming in third, the bronze medal winner would be Will with 3. Gary got 4, which is not a bad number. The only problem is just one. It's one less than this, which is what I got. Can you add like a trophy to each week, and then we move it around to whoever wins the?
Nah. Oh God. I don't know. I don't know where to turn. I don't know whether to turn in the chat to feel better about myself or stay here and just deal with this gloating. Guys, we got a few minutes and then we got to really wrap this thing up. It's after midnight over here on the East Coast and we all got work tomorrow, but we're here. We're here for you. Is there anything you want to get off your chest? You got a couple of minutes to get it in the chat. Just a few minutes. We'll hang out here. James Lawrence. Where would we be if it weren't for James Lawrence in here saying Fight TV shouldn't get a break? That's their one job. Marquez shouldn't have to apologize. He set up an incredible show and kept it going though the sky was falling. I blame Fight. That's their job. Okay, it is their job. Hopefully, Fight, acknowledges that if it is the case that is their fault. Hopefully, they acknowledge it, and that's fine. Shit still happens. You've effed up. In your job, I'm sure. I know I have. And so, that's life. Hopefully they make it right. I'm sure, I feel pretty confident that if you wrote Fight TV and you were like, I'm super disappointed I didn't get to see this thing live, they'll probably help you out. That's all they can do from here. So What do you need from them to make it better? You need them to work on it and make it better for next week. And if you really need it, you need them to take care of you for this week. Well, you can talk it out with them and sort it out. But there's no reason for us to go just hammering on Fight TV right at this point, in my opinion. The Alliance Wrestling says, being at the venue, I can tell you that nobody in the building was aware that they were having issues. I asked a few people in production that I'm friendly with. Nobody knew that there was an issue at all. So that's disappointing. I feel like, though, by the end, they were aware. Like, I feel like they were, like, timing things a little differently. I could be dead wrong, but I feel like the matches seem to, like that Dan Joseph match seemed to just kind of push through, and they were just trying to, I don't know, that could have been just normal timing issues or something like that. I wasn't there, but and then I still, there's a part of me deep down in my soul that wants to believe Nick Aldis marched out there because he was just done with everything. It was just like, I'm here to beat somebody's ass and I'm going to do it right now. But yeah, absolutely none of this has anything to do with the talent. So if I see you out there being pissy with the talent about any of this, you can GFY. If you don't know what that means, just DM me. Anything else from you guys before we wrap this thing up? I'm just rambling now.
Just
Mike, get Whiskey Gary out.
My man Michael chat asking, does NWA High get a 2-hour delay tomorrow due to the technical difficulties tonight? And the answer is no. NWA High will be in session tomorrow because we have technical issues every day, like Gary was saying. Man, I mess up at my job. I mess up in my marriage. I mess up as a father. It happens, man. Get over it. It'll be okay. They'll fix it. Fight TV is a professional company. They are a good brand. They've got good people that work there, and it happened. There's no denying it. They'll fix it. I promise you, they'll fix it.
I have faith that if anybody's going to fix this thing, it is David Marquez and his team. David Marquez, if there is anybody that is more passionate about wrestling, I swear to God, that guy will talk to you for hours on end about anything you want to with professional wrestling. That man wants it to work. I guarantee you he's working his tail off right now to make sure this situation is resolved. So I feel good about it. We happen to know some of the guys over at Fight TV that have been nothing but good to us. And they provided us, like, for example, the code that we were able to do the drawing for. They were aware of it, like, during the time, and I had communication with them, and they were very kind in saying, we're frustrated too. We don't know. We're trying to figure it out. People are saying that Fight emailed them and told them it was at the venue. That may be true. I don't know. The last thing I saw was just they were saying, we don't know. We don't know where it's at. We're trying to get it fixed. Thanks for the kind words. That's it. But hey, man, tonight wasn't everything everybody wanted, but that is the way of life sometimes. But what we did get was a pretty solid teaser for what could be an epic NWA World's Heavyweight Championship match down the line, I think. And I thought it was a damn fine match given the circumstances. So I love the setup. United Wrestling Network Primetime Live. It looks brilliant. I mean, it looks good there. I'm excited about seeing more stuff out of this venue. I'll be here next week. I hope you guys will be. Rob, Will, any last words for these folks before we wrap this thing up?
No, thank you guys for joining. I know it's late, and I know it's this is a different show for us and a different thing to be reacting to than we're used to, but thank you guys for hanging with us. And again, despite all the problems, let's address the problems, but we love professional wrestling, and let's not lose the fact that NWA professional wrestling was back tonight. And even if you have to watch it tomorrow to get a glitchless event, I mean, damn it, we got wrestling back. Let's be happy. And so there's a lot else going on too. Rob, you're about to take a trip down to Texas. Are you excited about that?
Man,
oh my God.
Shoot, I was going to tell you about that, man. We got, what's that? What's the Hurricane Sally coming through?
Oh.
Coming through North Georgia on Thursday. Like I'm
Wow.
thinking, gosh, we fly out at like 4 o'clock. I hope it doesn't affect my flight. But luckily, the Buda, Texas event is until Friday, so I will sleep at that airport somehow, some way. We are going to make it to Buda, Texas, to be at that event.
What Rob's talking about, by the way, if you're not aware, I mean, Thunder Rosa, who's going to be starring in next week's United Wrestling Network's Primetime Live, defending against Priscilla Kelly, assuming she gets through this week because she's defending tomorrow night on AEW. You guys got to tune in to AEW. Whether or not you like AEW, you need to at least tune into that segment and watch Thunder Rosa defend the NWA Women's Championship. How we went so long without any NWA wrestling. And my God, we just got a World's Heavyweight Championship match. We got another championship tomorrow night being defended by Thunder Rosa. Friday night on the Title Match Network. We're all going to be watching that, so tune in. Hell Hath No Fury. Friday, September 18th. Thunder Rosa defends, assuming she gets through tomorrow, she's defending against the American Kaiju, Lindsay Snow. And as soon as she gets through that, she'll be right back on United Wrestling Network's Primetime Live. Thunder Rosa is the hottest wrestling star in the business right now. Fight me. Like, she is on top of the world. People love Thunder Rosa. They know what she puts into it. Did you hear her interview on Talk is Jericho? If you're not a fan after that, my God, come on. Thunder Rosa is legit. But anyway, thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We'll be back on Thursday night to talk to you. Hit subscribe, hit the like button, all of that stuff. I got to wrap this thing up. Thank you so much again. Until next time, enjoy your gravy cake.